Hello friends, Tom Downey here for the Atlanta Falcons preseason profile. We'll start things off with some of their key additions. In terms of free agency, look, not a whole lot going on for Atlanta. The roster was very much pretty close to being completed already, and they did not have a lot of cap space to play with anyway. But they did make some moves. Brandon Fusco comes in. He could be a starter at guard for Atlanta. Justin Bethel will help on special teams and maybe a backup corner. Terrell McClain was a low-end, cheap signing to help out at DT. I really like that move. And then most importantly, I actually really like their draft. Calvin Ridley, the number 2 receiver off the board, great pick. Isaiah Oliver, great value in round 2. Adrian could be a long-term piece at DT for Atlanta. 3 great picks, and I'm a big fan of Edo Smith as well. All in all, I liked what Atlanta did in terms of bringing talent in. As for what they lost, well, Dontari Poe leaves. That was a pretty big one. You're going to miss Terrell Gabriel earlier in the year, but Calvin Ridley could be just as good. Adrian Clayborn had the one great game against the rotting corpses of Chaz Green and the rest of the Cowboys offensive line in that game, but he's not an elite player by any means. That's not going to be a big loss. All in all, it's an A- grade for me. A solid quality offseason for Atlanta, but doesn't quite have that flashy free agency star pickup that you want to give it a true A grade. But all in all, Falcons fans should be very pleased by what they did this offseason. As for the preseason now, they play the Jets in Week 1, at KC in Week 2. Week 3 is on the road against Jacksonville, what maybe could be a Super Bowl preview, and then the Dolphins end the year in Week 4, in the preseason, in Week 4. We'll zoom in on that Jags-Falcons game. Look, it's the dress rehearsal game. It's the one we're going to focus on. Big question for me, first up, can Steve Sarkisian finally get the offense clicking in the same way that Kyle Shanahan did? And follow up that, look, it's just a good game. Falcons-Jags could be, but probably not, a potential Super Bowl matchup. Either way, it's a good measuring stick for Atlanta against another Super Bowl contender. Some Falcons training camp storylines now. First up for me is actually on defense. Namely, will the pass rush improve? There are a lot of good pieces, a lot of good players I like on this defensive line, but Atlanta's pass rush was not as good as it should have been, or at least could have been last year. So Atlanta was just a middle-of-the-road pack last year in terms of pass rush. Tied for 13th with 39 sacks, and several of those came in one game against the Cowboys from Adrian Clayborn. The Falcons have to do a better job of rushing the passer this year. First up, Vic Beasley, got to be better. Takk McKinley, though, I think is primed for a breakout year. I've mentioned this before in other NFL daily programs. McKinley, I think, is going to have a surprising, maybe not surprising, but a breakout year for Atlanta. Sennett, Crawford, McClain will help out on DT, although none of them are true dynamic 3-technique types. Next up, who will start at right guard? And this one's going to be a bit of a battle there. I think it's going to end up being Brandon Fusco, but he's not the only one competing for the job. Wes Schweitzer still is there with Atlanta starting last season, but the Falcons paid Fusco to be their right guard. I think he'll win the job, and frankly, that we're even talking about this is an indication of just how good this Falcons team is. There is not a lot of holes on this roster. The biggest question mark by far for me is the coaching staff, namely Steve Sarkisian. He did not do a good enough job last year. The Falcons offense should have been elite, and it wasn't. That brings us to our final training camp storyline. Can Sark just get the offense clicking? Take a look at what the weapons that Matt Ryan has and what is already a good offensive line. Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley, Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman. Yeah, Austin Hooper isn't an elite player by any means, but he's like the 5th or 6th option for this team. You don't need him to be elite. The Falcons should be one of the best offenses in the entire NFL. That was not the case last year. They were barely average. So will the Falcons have a top 5 offense this year? Give me a 1 for a yes, a 2 for a no. I think they will, and if they don't, I think Sark's got to go, because if this team should be top 5, if not the best offense in the NFL. If it's not this year, the blame has got to fall on Steve Sarkisian unless there are major injuries. Take a look now at the Falcons' schedule this year. A great one in Week 1. They travel to Philadelphia to kick off the NFL season on Thursday Night Football. Then 2 more tough games, Carolina and the Saints. At least both of those, though, are road games. Benefit for playing Carolina Week 2. They got the full 10 days to prepare. Then some AFC North matchups. The Bengals in Week 4 should be a win. At Pittsburgh, that one's just not going to be very easy. Home against the Bucs, home against the Giants, and then at the Redskins. I like those last 3 games there you see on the slide. Should be good matchups. The tough ones, of course, for Atlanta overall, how do they fare against the NFC South? Those are going to be 6 tough games no matter even the Bucs they're going to be tough. So Atlanta has to win those games. In terms of the second half of the schedule, at Cleveland, they should be okay. Home against the Cowboys, the home game will help them. At New Orleans on Thanksgiving, must-watch football, but again, a narrow time to prepare, and you go on the road. I think they're going to lose that game. Home against Baltimore, they should win. At Green Bay is going to be a tough one as well. Versus Arizona, at Carolina, at Tampa Bay to end the season there. So 3 easier games to end if you can get by Carolina. But look, the NFC South is going to be tough. You're playing great teams, and the NFC overall is really good. Normally you finish third in a division, you get a break. For the Falcons, that means they have to go play the Green Bay Packers. Not ideal there. Their odds are plus 2,000. Again, a top 10 team, which is exactly what I think Atlanta is. Maybe they win the NFC South. Maybe they finish third. Either way, this should be a playoff team for Atlanta. If there isn't, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. I think they'll be better than what they were last year because I think the offense will be much improved under year 2 of OC Steve Sarkisian. So, folks, let me know where you think the Falcons will finish in the NFC South. Again, I've got them pegged for second. If you think they're going to win, I'm actually okay with that. I don't think they'll finish third, but I think the Saints and the Falcons are the 2 best teams in the NFC South. I think one will win, one will come in second. Either way, both will end up making the playoffs. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/chatsports for all the NFL coverage you could possibly want. We'll have rumors, news, and highlights as well during the season.